Hello, this message is for the management staff of Planned Brotherhood. This is Mikhail from the Parenthood Federation of America. I'd like to let you guys all know that Planned Brotherhood is not going to be affiliated or associated with Planned Parenthood in any way. Planned Parenthood is a registered trademark of Planned Parenthood Federation of America Incorporated. And if you infringe on these rights, we will come to your house and commit mental abortions to you. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Go! Planned Brotherhood! Planned Brotherhood! Nick are out of control. They would crash the airwaves with a microphone. So sit down tight and listen close. So the ladies know.
Hello, everybody, and thanks for listening to episode 90 of Planned Brotherhood. As devoted listeners know, every 10th episode we like to bring in a family member to talk family. This time it was PJ's wife, Elvina, which does technically count. We recorded from the hotel room they were staying at, which explains why we were swearing in front of Sophie. Enjoy the show.
We're there at the Seattle Center with Mom and Denise and stuff, and Melissa got a piece of pizza, and she's just like...
Yeah, she almost wears it as a face mask because she likes to eat the toppings off of it first, but she puts the whole thing up to her face and then just bites off the pepperoni and lets that grease slide down her double chin.
She has so much food around her mouth when she stops eating. Can you turn this cartoon down a little? Maybe talking to your microphone.
Sophie is really fighting sleep right now.
The bed's so big. We can let Sophie sleep with us.
No. She sleeps like a big animal. She ends up sideways with like her feet on top of your back.
She had her feet on my back the other day and her legs were crossed. Like at the ankle on top of my back.
Yeah.
It's just that there's like people sitting around eating food and Sophie has to go to the bathroom.
But she did have to go twice within 10 minutes.
It's annoying when she doesn't go. She did it, like, I took her 9 times the other day before noon, and she only went, like, 2 of them.
Yeah, she does that. She pulls that a lot on me. I say pull it like it's some kind of scheme on her part. Is it just an attention-grabbing thing, or does she think she has to go?
I don't know. I think she just wants to go in and sit down. But Alvina announces in front of all the tables who are eating, like, I try to look like a good parent out. I try to be a good parent, and I try to let that be known out in public. But when you go,
you mean disinterested?
The only way you're going pee-pee is if you do it in your pants, because I'm not taking you again. That's what Alvina said.
Yeah, and then he told her to tone it down a little bit.
I said, dial it down a notch. I was a little bummed out not to see the cool guy bums outside a Cheesecake Factory. Oh, there were some people playing like a bongo. And
poorly, too. Not that I really know what a bongo is supposed to sound like, but they were just shitting around.
And one of the girls, I'm pretty sure, is like a catalog model who was there for the night.
Yeah. Showing off her grunge piece today.
Wearing like her beret stocking cap thing.
Yeah, they were kind of the second-rate hobos that I was talking about, but they weren't the official ones. And then that other guy that was out there who was like he had a little sign when we were sitting there, and he looked basically passed out and legitimately homeless. And his sign said something about being a veteran and anything you can do helps. And then, like, he takes a break and comes back and pulls out this huge piece of butcher paper and has, like, an easel almost that it's sitting on.
Yeah, like a huge banner like that one from the movie Daredevil that I used to have. Do you remember that?
No.
I had a big banner that I got on eBay of Bullseye from Daredevil.
Why would you seek that out on eBay?
I was in the Colin Farrell phase right then.
That's right. This was around the same time that American Outlaws was your favorite movie, probably?
Yeah, exactly.
But, yeah, this guy, I'm not even quite sure what it was. It was a bad approach because he was a stinky-looking old man.
It was like kissing lessons, and it had all the fees.
Various humorous rules about what it would take to kiss him.
But it even said on top, like, this is for humor only, I guess.
It seems like it was too much, though. There was so much written.
Yeah.
Like he just, I imagine that he's sitting under the bridge and somehow got a hold of a marker.
Yeah, there's a lot
got tired of sniffing it. What is she doing?
She's pretending to be me. Soapy, come here.
Hi, Daddy.
What does Daddy sound like?
I love it.
Duh, duh, duh.
When we go away to the mansion the way we did, Do you ever wonder, like, I wonder if this is the weekend I'm going to sleep with PJ's brother?
Ew, no, I never think that.
For a short time, though, when you guys first started dating, you did think I was more attractive than you missed out.
No.
Yeah, you saw storytelling on my arm, and you're like, I can't compete with that.
I got to marry this guy just to get close.
I do remember, though, early on into your dating, I don't remember if you told me directly, Alvina, or if PJ just told me secondhand, but you had commented on saying that PJ should dress more like me, which is funny now because I'm the slob, but at the time, I think I had a nice polo shirt, and PJ was dressed like a hobo.
Like he does now. So. Yeah, I probably said that.
Yeah, okay.
I like the way you dress most of the time.
Most of the time?
You don't think his T-shirts are too small?
Sometimes.
All the time.
Still? I know you used to give me a lot of shit for that. I know. I'm just... I'm like, if I have to move another size up, then I'm just admitting things to myself that I'm not prepared to deal with.
But also, Nick would be willing to, like, let his girlfriend or wife or something dress him
Yeah.
to where PJ...
He was asking me to help him pick out shirts at the store today.
Yeah, and I was underwhelmed by the selection there at H&M.
Yeah.
They're so cheap, I just... But then I found a couple that were like $10, and I was like, this looks pretty good. I should ask PJ what he thinks. And then I was like, what if he doesn't like it? Then I'll just feel stupid.
Just give up now.
So instead, I wear a lot of promotional freebie T-shirts.
How's this for a segue? How did you dress for your date? Do you put on a tie, like maybe some fake black-rimmed glasses that don't really have lenses in them?
No.
Is that why you got a haircut?
I hadn't got my hair cut. I think maybe that's where, not to tease anything, or I mean to spoil anything, but I think that's where everything went wrong, is first of all, my hair was still doing its... because we hadn't met, and so, but we had seen pictures of each other, and then she's like, what'll you be wearing? And then I told her that I was going to be the one with the big floppy disgusting hair, which she thought was funny until she met me, and then nothing I said was funny anymore.
Yeah.
But we'll backtrack on that.
Yeah, let's go from the beginning here. If you're going to flip through the channels, at least stop on True Lies. You went right past it. This is fine. She'll watch this. All right, from the beginning. Start at Jump Street.
So there's this website, okcupid.com.
Oh, I've heard of it.
I think I've even mentioned it before. I've never met anybody off of that site before, and I've never even talked to anybody. Every time I log in there, because sometimes you'll get the emails, new matches in your area, and so I'll look at them, but I never do anything with the information.
What do you write? What's your profile in there? You put some favorite
Wait, no, I have a
movies in there?
question.
Okay.
Did you have an email right away? Because I would be sad if I didn't have one right away. I don't think I would have one right away.
No, in fact, I've never received an email first from somebody on there, but I've never approached anybody.
Bad sign.
Well, I never did anything. I mean, I created a profile, and I was very honest in it, meaning that I said that I was unemployed and that I smoked pot. But then I thought anybody that sees this is going to know, they're going to appreciate me for me right from the beginning, even
That's
based
right.
on my profile.
They wrote a song about it.
Uh-huh. No, what happened was I didn't send her a message, but she showed up as a new match, and I looked at her pictures, and she seemed cute enough. And then you can do this thing where you, like, favorite that person. So I was going to do that because I didn't have the courage or I didn't feel drunk enough to write her then. But I was like, I can't forget she exists. And I didn't really, like, she had terrible taste in things. Like, she mentioned Twilight and Hanson non-ironically for the music and movies.
Yeah.
But I haven't been laid in a really long time, guys. So I just favorited her, not knowing that information is made available to her. So she saw that I favorited her and messaged me first and was like, hey, why'd you favorite me?
Is that seriously how she went about it?
No.
I was going to say, no wonder she needs help. Helping the love life.
So I wrote her back, and I don't know. Everything I said was real cheeseball from the very beginning. But she was very responsive after I'd replied to her first thing, and so we went back and forth like that. And
At
then,
the mansion, you were getting texts. You were not answering phone calls.
right at that point, I'd been talking to her. Just it's dumb. Like she's like, "Hey, I like to text a lot. You should give me your phone number." So I was like, "All right, this will eventually build to something ideally." And so she would seriously text me like at all hours of the night. I don't know what she did for work, or she claimed to be in school, but she was always up until like 4 a.m. talking about how much she hates her mom or her roommates or something. But
Just via text back and forth.
Yeah, I was going along with it. But you're right. Like once we were at the mansion, like she was actually calling me and stuff. But I was way too tatered at any given time to think I could handle that. So we had
Plus, you've got a bunch of friends who, meanwhile, and they're giving you like sometimes conflicting advice, throwing it all at you at the same time. Answer it! No, don't answer it. Call her back!
I was happy to text her back, but I wasn't going to call her back. But I got real brave towards the end of that mansion stay. And I wrote her a text and was like, hey, what are you doing on Wednesday when I get back into town? And she's like, nothing, why? Or she says, nothing, what are you doing? And then I said, hanging out with you.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Wow.
And then she wrote me back and was like, LOL, several emoticons. It's a date. And then, I had 3 days to prep for it by that time. Still never talked to her on the phone, just basing this off the few pictures I had available to me. But she's texting me the whole time, talking about how excited she is, how she's going to buy a new outfit, how she's so nervous, but she knows that it's going to go well. So,
Jesus Christ, this is a weirdo.
I know, but it kind of makes me feel like I can do no wrong at that point. And she's listened to the podcast. She listened to 2 episodes once she found out about the podcast and talked about how hilarious we were, but especially me.
Really? Most people go the other way on that, don't you think?
That is weird. I think you're lying on that.
Okay, non-listener, you have nothing to say. So yeah, I was feeling pretty confident that it was going to go well, just because we were Facebook. We still are, but we were Facebook friends at this point. So she's seen every unflattering angle as far as my pictures go. And then she's texting me the day of, 3 hours before, and she's like, just wanting to confirm the address. Oh my God, I'm so nervous. I've already drank 3 glasses of wine. And
Nice.
I was thinking to myself, yes, nice, but only because I had also drank 3 beers. Though I wasn't nervous until the day of, I just kept telling her,
I would
there's
be
nothing to
so nervous in that situation.
And usually I am, but I was especially cocky, and I was like, there's no reason to be nervous, dude.
This is going to be perfect.
It'll be great.
Just say, I've been masturbating to this for a long time. I have a feeling it's going to go really well.
No, I didn't do any of that.
What if you walked in on Nick masturbating?
Ew.
You make me stop coming over, depending on what he was looking at?
Ew. No, that's
Sophie's
gross.
asleep now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's really disgusting.
So no answer other than ew, ew.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a few hours before, she's drinking. My first mistake, I guess, is she's not familiar with the area I live in, and I suggested a bar. And she'd never been there before, and I was like, oh, it's really close to me, and I gave her the address.
She came out to Ballard?
Yeah. She doesn't live too far from there, but she'd never been to that bar. And I didn't know that. I just assumed she'd been. And so we're going to go meet at 8 o'clock. And I way overshot it. I was too high, too. And I was walking from my house. But somehow I missed the street completely. So then I'm 10 minutes late. But I called her at 8 to let her... Oh, this is the first time I actually heard her voice. I was like... Because she let me know that she was there. And so I called her and I was like, hey, I'm an idiot. I'll be there in 10 minutes. And she's like, okay. I was like, bad start, first of all. So I show up. I smoked 11 cigarettes on that 10-minute walk to get where I was supposed to be. But she's a smoker, too. I knew that wasn't a concern either. As far as what I wore...
Sounds like my dream girl.
Does that gross you out?
What?
That she's a smoker?
No, of course it doesn't gross me out.
Ugh, gross. I think it's so gross when girls smoke.
Although, when I dated Storytelling, long before I ever started smoking cigarettes, she was secretly smoking sometimes, and I fucking hated it when I knew it.
I can smell it on you.
You disgust me.
I'll be on the couch.
That's what I do to PJ, but he doesn't quit. I am really a Nazi around him about smoking, and
Alvina thinks you can literally just flip a switch and be a non-smoker.
why can't you? Margaret quit.
Oh boy, Margaret was barely.
Margaret
a
also
smoker.
smoked for 18 years prior to that.
Yeah,
She
which
was-
shows you it doesn't matter how long you smoke. Hey,
I'm quitting on my 30th birthday. The same.
Is this an
Margaret did.
after-school special? Where's Ben Affleck?
Smoking is bad for you guys. Don't do it.
Thanks for that.
As played by Maria Conchita Alonso. Right? Racial.
Anyhow, yes, I think it's gross that girls smoke. Continue.
Okay. It wasn't so gross. First thing I should say, aside from what I was wearing, which was my... Don't laugh when I say this. I got some new slim fit jeans. I think that's what they're called.
I like those.
Yeah, they're
yeah.
nice. And I wore the shoes that weren't these shoes, the other ones that are better. And a concert t-shirt, I kept it casual. Why is that funny?
It's cool.
Every picture she's seen of me online, I'm wearing some stupid t-shirt.
Yeah.
Plus, I was wearing the new red jacket I've been sporting with the little stripey on the side.
Nice.
But I still had the long hair at the time. And my teeth are bad. I'm already making excuses for why things went the way they did. But it's exciting at first because I finally go in there and I see that she's sitting there and she's totally cute. I want her immediately. Keep in mind, it's been a long time.
Do you see like disappointment in her eyes right away?
Well, see, I didn't even allow for it because as soon as I was like, I apologized immediately for being late, and then I had to go to the bathroom. Like I had to piss since I left my house, so I throw down my jacket and I'm like, proper introductions in a second. I gotta go pee. I'm sorry. And then I was like, what the fuck am I doing? And
Yeah, that's weird.
I know, bad start. Somehow I thought my bumblingness was charming. And so I went in the bathroom. I gave myself a little pep talk in the mirror. I came back out. But rather than go talk to her, like I decided I'm going to go wait for a beer at the bar first. Even though she already had a drink when I sat down. So I was just getting one for myself, but I didn't let her know that first. And it took like 5 minutes. And that whole time I stood there just looking straight ahead while I could see her looking at me. At least that's what I think I could see out of the corner of my eye. But also a part of me thinks she ditched me and left the second I put my jacket down. And so then when I finally get my beer, I sit down and said, oh, God, thank God you didn't leave. Why do I got to say that? And then I make a big production about how I have a big hard time with eye contact. It'll only take me a few minutes. It was going really bad right from the start.
Yeah.
She didn't ask me any questions. Like, everything was coming from my end of it. I already told you this a few days, but my first real mistake, or no, I guess third by this point, you guys have already heard. Like 10 minutes, it's just very basic conversation, you know, family and stuff, but her family, because she wasn't asking me any questions. And then she gets a text. She apologizes for taking it. And she's like, oh, it's my mom. You know how moms are. And I go, yeah, I'd probably be getting texts from my mom right now if I was talking to her. It seems like
I'm surprised that wasn't in your OkCupid bio. I hate my mother.
So that was a weird thing to say. I was too drunk when I got there, and then I was just panicking. The other thing I said in
It sounds like you were just like really self-deprecating right off the bat.
Yeah, but not in a charming way.
Yeah.
The other thing I said as far as family goes, and this is way later on in the night when I'm starting to lose my memory for it a little bit, but there was something in the TV that we were commenting on or something, and then I referred to it being retarded, and then I thought I saw a look from her, and so I immediately followed it up with, it's okay for me to say that. My sister's retarded.
Oh, my God. I was just going to say, I hope you didn't say that.
Why would I have?
Nick, sometimes
where were you
when you're
watching
thinking
TV?
stuff in your head,
What's that?
sometimes when you're thinking stuff in your head,
Yeah.
it's okay to leave it in there.
But overall, I mean, I'm getting all the worst things out of the way first, and things just keep coming back to me. But we split a couple pictures, and she asked if we wanted food. So
So
I
you
thought
met
things
up
were
at a
going
bar
okay.
then? Oh, yeah, King's Hard Bar.
Right. And then at one point, we were talking about Lost because that was one thing we could talk about, and we had just seen the new episode. And then the waiter comes by, and he's like, you guys talking about Lost? And so we were talking to him about it.
Oh,
I
that's
was like,
pretty sweet.
yeah. I was like, I'm redeeming myself a little bit. And hold on, I got some other embarrassing stuff written down on this.
But I want to ask you, why would you think that putting all the bad stuff up front makes it better?
It's just like I don't know, but
Yeah,
it
why don't you
seems to
answer for
me
me?
it just seems to me like you wouldn't want there to be any silences, so you just say the first thing that pops into mind,
Which is
and
usually
family
my sister's
shit.
retarded.
Yeah.
No, because when I had asked about her family, she went in. I mean, not such gritty detail, but she was talking about how she didn't know her real dad and stuff. So she was being personal to me.
Yeah.
Just not in a really mean, sarcastic kind of way, I guess. And she found she's like, I saw on your Facebook that you grew up as Jehovah's Witness. What was that like? And I was happy to answer that one, except for I think I got a little too animated about that too. It's like, fuck God. Oh, because she asked if I believed in God at one point, and I said no. And that may or may not, because I asked her the question back, and she's like, I haven't decided. I've decided this date is terrible. Oh, and I was so drunk by the end, I think I maybe just dreamt this because I had bad, weird, reliving the night sleep after that. But there's a possibility that at one point I made a joke about the numbers game, like sex. But I'm pretty sure I couldn't have said that out loud.
The numbers game.
Yeah, like...
How many people have you slept with?
We don't need to talk about how many people we slept with. I'd just be embarrassed. I'm pretty sure I just dreamt that part.
Wow. I hope so, buddy.
And then, like, she ordered this huge thing of nachos because I said I wanted it, and then I ate, like, 2, but I was already feeling so ill. And then I was like, let's get a box. And then she's like, do you want to eat it? And I was like, yeah, I eat leftovers all the time.
A box.
A box for the nachos. And then as soon as the guy brings the box, I'm like, these aren't going to hold up that well. I don't want the box. I was just being a spaz. And then she tells me she has to get going soon, but this is, like, 2 hours into it. And
Wait, so were you at the bar the whole time?
Yeah,
Where were you watching TV? Just
there was
at the bar.
Yeah, it was up above the bar. Yeah, she didn't come back with me or anything, although I was hoping so.
Yeah.
And then, even though she was pretty ditzy, she looked cute in whatever top she was wearing. So it was basically whenever there was a lull in conversation, it would be like, so do you have any other questions for me? And at the end, it was kind of getting that way. We had just come back from
Nightmare.
smoking a cigarette, and she goes, so I gotta get leaving soon. We should get a tab. And I'm like, that's cool. And she goes, in the meantime, you got any other questions for me? And then I thought I was being smooth because I said, yeah, do you want to hang out again sometime? And she hesitates for a second, and she goes, yeah, I'm going to Africa. Well, she'd already told me that she was going to Africa when we were text buddies and she was in love with me. But it's like 6 weeks away, so she's like, I'm going to be really busy for that time. I just totally blew it, guys. And that's been like a week and a half now, and I haven't talked to her. I mean, she hasn't talked to me since.
Yikes.
A couple of friends were telling me, wait a couple of days and just be like, hey, it was nice to get a drink with you and see if she responds. But
I'm sorry I was
so
Spazzy
embarrassed.
McGee.
Yeah, it was my fault.
Yeah, that was just a
lot of bad
break
choices
you
on my
in.
part.
Yeah, you did a lot of bad stuff on that.
I overcompensated. I thought I was going to go great, and then I think I hexed myself by being so confident up until the last minute, and then just every weird thing pouring out of my mouth.
Okay, what if you met another girl on a date and this girl just told you every crappy thing in her life?
Nick would love it, I think.
You would love it because any normal person.
I would like
be
it. I'd be like, oh, I didn't have to talk at all. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
but
that's
now
one
you-
perk.
Yeah.
Also, like, sometimes I respond to things that are fucked up about chicks. Like, the brief time that I was seeing Shoe Stars, I only liked her. I mean, I only felt as comfortable as I did around her and thought we got along well because she was so fucked up. Like, she made me seem normal. And plus, also going back to the comfort of a chain smoker, pot smoker,
Drinker.
alcoholic. Yeah, big time alcoholic, that one. But those things
She
don't
was
bother
carrying
me.
pints of vodka around in her purse like she was mom or something.
But compare that to like Pincushion, who judged everything I did.
Probably sniffed glasses of wine before she drank them.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was just totally on edge that entire time I dated Pincushion. So Shoe Stars or people like her are kind of a relief because I feel like I'm not hiding anything from them and I don't really have to prove that much to them. They
Yeah.
just accept me for me because they're basically the female version of me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Did
I
I
like,
answer your question?
I like being better
yeah.
than my woman.
It does make sense to me, but on the other hand, it also makes sense that you need to have somebody first like you a little bit before they find out all the messed up crap about you.
Look,
Keep them coming back. Don't be like, hey, I'm a horrible person and my mom's in the
Well, what did he
and I
say?
have a-
What did he say that said he's a horrible person?
No, I said my mom and dad were horrible people.
and his
Or
sister
I
had a
don't-
horrible
I don't mean
brain.
like horrible. I just mean like, hey, look at all my baggage kind of thing.
I know,
Like,
it was-
this is what you can have too if you want.
I agree that it was unnecessary. It was just some kind of nervous impulse in the moment. But I will sleaze out on another internet girl in the future, and I will not make the same mistakes again.
I don't know how you can do it. I know I said it before, and I can't explain it well. How you work up the nerve to actually go and do this, but you're not the type of guy that can talk to a girl in a bar at all.
Yeah,
It just
that is
seems,
weird.
It just seems that like if you're willing to be like, okay, let's meet here at this time, and you actually don't run away. Like if I made a date like that, I'd already be 80% sure I wasn't showing up to it. And even if I did, like I would be just so nervous.
I think the reason,
And I think I would also get diarrhea of the mouth, like just overshare
but
city.
you've been married since birth.
That's true.
You don't really know where I'm coming from at all.
That's true.
I wouldn't want to be dating.
As far as
Actually, I would.
I'm so glad I'm not out there. It's so tough.
As far as the internet dating, the only reason I think it's a little easier for me is because there's all that, all that other discussion before it actually comes to it. So I'm hoping, like, by doing it that way, that you can charm a person enough that if they're underwhelmed by your physical appearance, they'll just remember, hey, this is the guy that, made me laugh with this fart joke a couple of days ago.
But when you're at a bar and the girl talks to you, you know that automatically. Oh, she's talking
Girls
to
never
me,
talk
so
to me at
she's
bars.
It
not.
seems like you could come up
Repulsed by
with
me.
like some really funny lines to say. Like I can only think of an example from the show Community when he goes up to her And he goes up to this Indian guy, goes up to a girl that's reading a book, and he goes, "Pride and Prejudice, huh? That's 2 sins down. You want to go for a third?" things like that. Like, if you would have just knocked it out of the park with something like that, it seems like that would help. And I know when you say, like, "Oh, I'm way too nervous," like I said I was going to talk to 3 girls this month, and it didn't happen. I was way too scared. I get that, but I don't see how you could meet up with them off the internet either. Like, why is that so different?
I just explained to you why it was different.
Oh.
Were you in the room?
I was totally thinking about that episode of Community.
My favorite TV pickup line was from Friends. What are you pointing
Sorry,
at?
I was pointing at a Vern Fonk insurance commercial. I haven't seen one of those in years.
Only there was a horn in here.
Yeah.
Chandler, one of his best pickup lines. That's where I'm at now.
Yeah. We're quoting TV shows. That's
Yes.
where we're at in this episode.
He goes up to a girl and says, "I know what you're thinking, Dave Thomas, founder of Wendy's." I always thought that was super hilarious. I should try that out. It's so dated. Alvina, can we talk about your zoo experience a little bit?
Sure.
First of all, what was your motivation for taking our retarded sister to the zoo with you?
Don't call her that.
Retarded.
Advocate over here.
Oh my
I'm
god.
not hating you, I can say it.
Let's say we came to Seattle because Alvina had a plan that she was going to all of a sudden
Take an interest in Melissa.
take our sister to the
No.
zoo in Tacoma.
And your theory, PJ, was that she was trying to impress our Aunt Lori?
Yeah.
Why?
Trying to be like, look,
would-
guys, I care.
Why would you even think that?
I mean,
When-
This is why I think it, because when we're over there and we're talking to them and they're like, "Oh,
Lori and Janine, you mean?
yeah, Melissa's situation and this and that," and you agree with everything they have to say, but then again, we go home and talk about how neither of us can stand to be around Melissa, and you're like, "Oh, well, I better get in there."
That's what I was
going to
say, and nothing against you because you're far from the only one. But when Melissa does come to Yakima and we're all, set to visit with her, she is exhausting and immediately so. And so, I don't know. It's not you specifically. I don't know why anybody would make the efforts that you did. I guess it is you specifically. I don't understand your motivation.
Thanks. You guys really act like I have no heart. But
I've just never seen your heart on display when it comes to our sister necessarily.
you're right, and I don't blame you guys. She is very exhausting. I do get easily annoyed by her. I don't really have patience for kids
Now,
in general, but I mean...
Is part of it maybe the fact that things are so bad for her now, home life-wise?
no,
Is that
not
where your heart
really.
came in? You're just like, wow, her mom's in Western State, and her dad's an idiot, and her stepdad's a DUI drunkard.
No, not
Okay.
really. I don't know. It was just like, yeah, a little bit feeling bad, but mostly like,
Trying to impress Lori.
no, I don't even know why you would say that. It was just like, I felt bad because we'd be in Tacoma anyways, and she'd be kind of close. And if I didn't get lost today for 80 hours, it would have been not convenient, but we were close enough. And I just felt bad if she ever found out that we were like so close.
Yeah, and she has her sources. She would have found out eventually. I find it interesting also that our cousin Ashley was there at least, so I'm sure she made the day a little more tolerable.
Yeah. Melissa's fine when she's with me. She acts perfectly fine. I mean, she's weird like you guys and doesn't really
She's
talk.
weird. I wouldn't
Not
say
like
like
us.
us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yours' weirdness isn't special.
I think I'd like to think that it is. We have 76 listeners that would tell you the same. So how is it? Like picking her up? How is it? Because I know my mom's not there. She's just with her stepdad.
Fine. I went to go pick her up, and Vincent...
She's like waiting outside the door with her fishing pole and her sleeping bag. She was confused about what the zoo was.
No, she did have on a backpack, and I don't know why, and she never took it off. And when she sat in the car,
Well,
she left
iCarly
it on.
backpack?
I didn't look at it.
That's
I'm
iCarly.
guessing the only reason she's wearing it is because of whatever logo was on it.
Yeah.
My guess was going to be Hannah Montana, but iCarly is just as likely.
It's probably High School Musical, specifically High School Musical 2.
I don't know. I didn't look
She
at
goes
it.
to school dressed like that still. She's in high school, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
Somebody
17.
needs to rein that. And Dad always comments on it, like when we'll go to Walmart so Melissa can spend her allowance, and she gravitates right towards whatever says iCarly on it.
Yeah.
And Dad'll take me aside. Not anymore. I don't talk to him, but he would take me aside and be like, I don't understand why she doesn't wear adult clothes. And I'm like, you could help steer her in that direction. It's a parental thing almost, it feels like to
Dad's
me.
always talking about like everything that's wrong and that he should be doing different, but never does.
I'm tired of your dad.
Even when I told him we were starting classes, and he was like, "Yeah, sometimes I wish I had done things differently with you guys in your schooling." I'm like, "Oh, really?"
you.
Like,
Are
made you guys
talking-
go to school after 8th grade? Yeah, that would have been a little bit of parenting.
Yeah, like
Scott.
you give 13-year-olds the choice of, "Hey, do you want to go to high school or do you just want to stay home? What are
And
we
do
gonna pick?"
nothing.
There
He's
were
so
no-
ridiculous.
Yeah, there was no motivation ever growing up to do anything. There were no heart-to-hearts.
It was well known from the beginning that we going to college was not an option. Going
Well,
to
it was
high
just a
school
word that was
wasn't
never
even a
bandied about,
possibility.
like with even extended family. I mean,
Yeah.
it was Lori that broke the mold, wasn't it? Eventually,
Yeah.
and now you. Congratulations, sir,
Thank you.
and you too, Alvina.
Oh, people in my family go to college.
No,
Sorry.
Okay, congratulations anyway.
Thank you.
Is there anything you want to dish about, Dad?
Yeah, I'm tired of him, and I do not plan to see him anytime soon, nor to let him see Sophie anytime
He said he's
soon.
planning a trip over to.
No, he's not. I will
Yankton.
not be there, and Sophie won't either. Because
Wow,
if
where's
he
all this
can't-
coming from?
I am just tired of him.
Talking to Lori, I guess.
I don't think the emails will actually post until next week, but we recorded the. It'll be clear by episode 91 why I'm no longer. I've officially cut him out of my life.
Good. I'm proud of you.
Is it the same shit, like the fact that he's not stepping up and caring for
Yeah.
his daughter?
It's like, why is it okay for Sophie to spend the night there and have him and Debbie watch her?
Well,
and
Sophie's cute.
yeah,
And that's
well,
exactly it too.
that's
Unfortunately,
undeniable.
is the fact that like Debbie just doesn't want someone like Melissa there. Debbie, the special ed teacher.
Right. But she's always had a problem with Melissa, and I don't know how much of that actually. She still holds a grudge against Melissa because of the way she acted once when they first got married. When Melissa was what, 5?
Yeah, and Melissa went to spend the week there or something like
She was
that.
too clingy.
And she was too clingy and kept asking, "Where's my mom?" Which destroyed Debbie.
Oh, destroyed her because she cared for her, wanted to be her mom for some.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So you say that you don't want.
You know what else destroyed Debbie? Fettuccine Alfredo. Ruined her cholesterol.
That was a lot of Alfredo in one sitting.
Her figure.
So you have no interest in my dad like seeing Sophie anytime soon. What about Debbie? Where does she fall in this?
No.
What if Debbie were to just show up and ask to hang
Debbie's different, yeah. We'd hang out with Debbie. Debbie, I know, has been really mean to you guys and to
Well,
Melissa.
out? Never
but-
directly.
No.
Right, never directly. And for all I know, she could talk about me all
She
the
got
time,
a shit
too.
fucking attitude about us, though.
But she's never done it to my face. I think Debbie is fine. I don't mind her at all.
I think she's fine. Like
That's what I meant.
how the brothers say.
But I'm just sick of your dad. He needs to grow a pair and be a dad.
Yeah.
And an adult most
Not
of
just
all.
ignore this entire huge situation.
He's really pathetic. And I don't feel the need to.
I agree. Pathetic is a good word for it.
Yeah.
Mom's several things, but Dad's got her beat as far as patheticness goes, I think.
It's ridiculous. And
He hasn't stood up for himself in 12 years. And even before that, when he stood up for himself constantly, it was always unjustified.
Yeah. Yeah, Dad did a lot of shit wrong, and he's just doing different kinds of shit wrong now.
He's just more...
And it's always weird to hear him come and be like, you know, I've talked about it before, like, oh, you know, we had all that free dental care for you, and your bitch mother would never get off her lazy ass. And, you know, I was there, too. I could have done it, too.
I could have.
But, like, he doesn't even see that, like, okay, then why wouldn't I feel exactly the same way about you? I remember when Dad and Mom first got divorced, he would just, like, sit there and just want to bash her so fucking hard with me. And I would, like, say, like, oh, I don't want to talk about it. And he'd get so mad, be like, and start crying his eyes out. But it was like, I just spent the last 16 years of my life getting like bitched the fuck out by him every night he came home for giving our mom a hard time. It's hard to just be like, one day all of this stuff is allowed now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think he was really taking Mom's side over years in those situations. Like when...
No, but he has to recognize that, like, a lot of it was always like, stay out of your mother's hair. If for no other reason, it'll keep everything out of my hair.
Right.
And then just all of a sudden one day, all right, let's just sit around and devote hours and hours to shit talking her in between my crying and jerking off while thinking about a Fred Meyer cashier.
gross.
he seriously, like, he was so sad after all that happened. Like, he'd go to Fred Meyer, like, every day.
Sad as in pathetic? Or
Yeah.
Oh.
And, like, hit on
And sad. As
it
in
just
sad.
sit there in line with all the other people around him in line, telling the Fred Meyer cashiers all about how his wife left him.
And he would break down and
for
be
a
crying
black
while there were
man,
people waiting to get
cry
food.
while filling
Oh
out
my
the check,
God.
and going to Fred Meyer like 4 times a week. All of a sudden, started going to meetings again. Just
Oh, sure, yeah.
went everywhere until the. To be able to tell them, get all the sympathy, and then when that was
Right.
dried up, move on to the next place.
Yeah, Dad was never a social person, and a lot of our weirdness came from him, I think. But yeah, once that divorce took place, he was desperate for anybody's company. He just wanted a lending ear, you know? And after a while, people got sick of it, especially when the whole Debbie massacre happened.
Yeah. And that was the thing too.
So that's what led to it.
Is he always wanted that attention, and then he met Debbie, so there was that big thing, and then he got married, and he was
thing,
miserable, and so then he got that fixed by going around telling everyone how terrible she was, and then nobody wanted to hear it anymore. After like year 4, nobody wants to hear it anymore.
Yeah,
oh, really?
we checked out even before
you
then.
sat in the garage and turned on the engine and read a book because you were going to kill yourself? Yeah, just like Mom was going to kill herself. Mom saying that.
I'm sorry, are you being serious? Is that a dad story that I've watched?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one
true?
I've heard. Yeah, that he called Grandma once.
Oh, I do remember that.
And he sat in the car
so
in
many
the
parents
garage and
attempted
turned it
suicides.
on.
It's hard to keep them straight sometimes.
And then he would like drove to where there was a river and was going to drive in. Did it get on tape earlier when I was talking about how Mom sent me that letter from Western State?
yeah, that's in next week's.
Okay, and how hard it was to commit suicide. Bullshit.
It's not. And why? Since when is Dad so James Dean dramatic? Where he's like,
I know,
I'm gonna
really.
plow my car up a river.
Yeah.
my Mustang too.
Or I'm going to park here and think about exactly what I'm going to tell my mom when I call her.
Do you think Grandma accepts his calls? And he probably doesn't even bother with her anymore.
Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't.
And she takes them.
What's funny is all the judgment he loves to pass on his own family. Like he doesn't. I mean, he still tries to. Past tense. I don't talk to him. He still tries to shit talk Mom all the time. But once he sees that I'm unresponsive to that, then it'll be Barry or Tracy or whoever else he came across on Facebook, and he wants to shit talk him. And I'm like, you know what? Barry is a weirdo, but you're a bad father. That's
Yeah,
yours.
and he will still try to shit talk Mom like on the phone with me or through IM or something like that. And he'll always like throw in a little reminder too, like you two never got along. You don't like her either.
I think it's funny that Alvina and I have decided to break the mold and just to cut him out. And
Break
yet
the
yours,
mold's not the right thing to say.
Okay.
There.
We're in it together. We're in it to win it.
I'm saying we made the decision that Dad's not worth our time.
I just
and yet
don't wanna-
you'll still entertain him on Facebook.
I know.
I just don't want to
PJ
be involved. I don't care about this whole.
If you don't want to be
Melissa
involved,
thing.
then just cut him out completely.
No,
You did it with
PJ
Mom.
never would do that. PJ
I'm not-
doesn't want to be involved. I'm still talking.
I'm
Don't
not
interrupt.
She's our
Stop
guest.
it. I'm not punishing him.
You're an interrupter.
I have no reason to cut him out of my
I'm
life
done.
right now.
No, Alvina.
You can't get done. It's my show. You gotta let me finish my sentence.
Whose show is it?
Don't be an interrupter. I've talked to many people
Okay,
that
this
agree
is-
with
this
me
is all
that
getting
you're
cut
being
out.
an interrupter.
I can't be undermined.
Well, then I'm done.
No, come
Alvina,
on. What were you saying?
Please.
Being there, come on, pick it up.
In more ways than one.
Buttercup.
Pick it up.
I'm sorry for interrupting. You can't.
No, you're not sorry.
You can't throw your mic down.
So what is it? What's the difference between him being able to check out on Mom completely and not Dad?
Well, you're saying that, like, yeah, you're saying that I just don't want to be involved in stuff like that. But I wrote Mom the email, the whole, I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of everything you're texting Nick. And she was texting me at the same time, trying to pretend like everything was good and stuff like that. I don't need to get involved in that kind of stuff with Dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm waiting for Alvina's point that she was going to make earlier. She's really mad dogging you now.
I know. I'm sorry, dude.
You're not sorry because you do it all the time.
Yes, I am.
Anyhow, I'm just saying PJ doesn't have enough. I don't even think it's like enough courage. PJ just won't do it because he doesn't. He always complains about, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want him in my life. I'm not going to talk to him. But then he won't do it. And I don't understand why. There's a difference between not wanting to be involved and cutting him out. If you really didn't want to be involved with him at all, you would cut him out. That's what it...
But that's such a huge process right there.
No, it's not. I did it with 2 emails.
Yeah.
2 emails I do not fucking feel like writing at all.
Do it with 1 and say, I'm done. That's that simple.
That's too
all
much
you need
right
to
there.
do.
If anything, I'll just change my number.
Yeah, there you go.
That's too much, but having him plan a visit to come see you is not too much?
Dude, well, I don't want him to come. He just kind of said that.
But you would not say no. That's the thing. You will not say no.
We would have, like, conflicting dates and stuff like that.
But you would not say no.
I would. I have no reason to. What do I care whether he takes Melissa?
You have plenty of reasons to.
No, I don't. Not really.
You have just as much reason to make that stand against Dad as you did with Mom.
No. See,
what
like,
makes it different? I know they're crazy in different ways.
I truly hate Mom as a person. Like, I don't 100% feel that way about Dad. I mean, I can't really stand to be around him, but I don't have any anger towards him or anything like that.
Not even now.
I do and I don't. It just, I don't know. It doesn't bother me as much as it's bothering you guys.
I know, when I would get all riled up and I was like, I'm going to call social services tomorrow. You're like, whatever, dude. Let me know how it goes.
Yeah, and I was like, I just don't want to get involved. And as will be brought up in next week's episode when Nick writes these emails, all Nick did was involve me throughout the whole thing.
I peppered your name.
Say my name like 10 times in each email. I mean, he really embarrassed me by making a stand like that in front of my bro and all my listeners.
That you're an interrupter?
Okay, well, you talk about how I interrupt all the time. You can't be that surprised.
Don't do it to me.
You're no different than any other guest we've ever had on this show.
Also, I volunteer to edit this one just so I decide what stays in and what goes out. PD, you're going to look like an asshole.
I got the perfect picture to post of Alvina for the show notes.
No.
I don't know what that means.
I don't want any pictures of me.
Oh, boy. It's just like the mansion all over again. I don't want to be on camera.
I don't like seeing myself. I don't like pictures. I don't like other people seeing me. I just don't like it, so please don't do it.
You like to see him, Paolo, you fucking whore.
Yeah, I do. Hi, Paolo.
So is that what was your favorite part of the mansion, guys? Let's lighten this shit up. Aside from what I look like in the hot tub.
PJ, I wasn't mad at you. I just really...
So we're just disregarding my question.
No, I will. This is the thing. PJ, you really hate people that interrupt, but you do it nonstop all the time.
On my podcast.
Are you saying on the podcast or in general life he interrupts all the time?
No, just on the podcast. With guests, and I've talked to a lot of people that agree with me.
Oh, God. You know maybe one person that listens to this podcast.
I've talked to 4 people that agree with me.
Oh, really? We're all 4 of these people in the mansion? All card-carrying I Hate PJ Club members?
3 of them were at the mansion, 1 was not.
If I got an uninteresting lesbian on my show...
I want to interrupt now. Don't you think it kind of adds to the charm of the show?
No, it doesn't add to the charm when you guys don't let people finish talking.
What was your favorite part about the mansion? Mine was A Weekend with My Wife. That was mine, though. I like to be out with Alvina when she's, like, drinking and smoking pot the whole time.
So you like me in an altered state?
Yeah, that's right.
It's a better version of me?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I'd venture to say yes, too.
When Alvina and I retire, we're going to spend the first year being completely drunk the entire time.
Day drunk, because I don't get to be day drunk very much, and I really like it.
Yeah, day drunk is awesome.
Yeah,
I'm day drunk every day.
Because then you're drunk all day, and then you're like, oh, it's dinner time, and I'm sober now, and I can drink again.
Yeah.
It is kind of the best.
That's the science of it. Nick, what was your favorite part of the mansion?
I wasn't prepared to answer my own question. This wasn't my favorite part, but I think an interesting side note is after you guys left is the first time I really took advantage of the rec room downstairs. Turns out I'm not terrible at ping pong.
Man, I was trying to play with you, and then 2 people passed out on the ping pong table while we were playing.
It could be that everybody else I was playing against was so bad, and by that I mean drunk. But so was I. I was keeping that thing on the table, guys. I was keeping it alive.
Yeah, there's a little more to it than that.
And I will say,
that's like running track and being like, I'm so good, man. I stayed on my feet the whole time.
I didn't beef it at all. Also, I think I took advantage of the hot tub more than anybody else.
Yeah, I didn't.
Well,
get in
I was there longer than you.
I didn't
guys.
get in there at all.
But
I got
was
in. It was good.
also sometimes it was exciting. Like 9:30, nobody's awake yet. I'm gonna sit my fat ass in the hot tub and enjoy myself. Like have the whole thing to
Wait a
myself.
minute, both days I was there, I was awake way before you were. When were you awake before everybody else?
One particular morning, I remember it being 9:22 a.m. and I was out there with a beer, and you were out there too. You just didn't take your shirt off and didn't go in.
Yeah.
Ew, that sounded weird.
The first morning, you were like the last one to get up, and Sam was taking pictures of you while you were sleeping.
Yeah, well, Sam was the first to fall asleep the night before, so I'm not too embarrassed by that.
When you fall asleep at 7, that's what happens.
Yeah, that guy's
No, that was Charlie.
Charlie was the first to throw up. I'm going to go ahead and throw him under the bus there. I think Charlie and Sam were the only two to throw up, unless you guys were keeping it hidden.
No, I didn't.
never throw up.
I drank a lot of hard alcohol, which is unusual for me that weekend, and didn't throw up either.
Yeah, I can hold my own now. I don't spin anymore. I don't.
Yeah, your hangovers have gotten a lot less debilitating. Which
Yeah,
is
they used to be
a good
really
thing.
bad.
You used to be in for it. The next day it was just over.
Like, did nothing before we had a kid, and now.
Yeah.
But even long before then, they were a little.
There was a
under control.
time when like I would go to work and I'd come home and Alvina would have smoked like a ton of my pot. Like
That is so cute. I didn't
yeah,
know
that
that.
was awesome back then. I mean, it's awesome having a kid.
Do you
now.
love me now?
Yeah, I do. I love you more
I don't
when
know
you,
if
when
you
you
do.
smoked a lot of pot.
This is saying a lot considering what show it is, but I think this is the most personal episode we've ever done.
No, I was just
There are
thinking
a lot
about
of,
that the other day. Like
demons.
I'd come home sometimes and like you had smoked a whole bunch of my pot.
That's good.
But I never minded. I always thought it was great. I always thought it was very funny.
Or you would send random friends to come and convince me that you said it was okay. I remember once you sent Nico.
What? To say it was okay to give him some pot?
Yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I was so stingy with it because I wanted it all. And, like, I'd have to text you and wait for your response from work to say it was okay. And then one time you sent V over, which was weird. I did not want to be alone with him.
Oh, yeah, that was weird. Anyway, we're getting way off
Oh,
subject
sorry.
here.
I remember shortly when I moved to Yakima and you guys had that house and I was living in the downstairs part of it. I remember I was still a Jehovah's Witness at the time. There were some air quotations going on there. But no, I still believed at the time and still thought that you guys were disgusting with certain habits you had. PJ, I think you may have been smoking cigarettes at that point. But you guys came one day, I think I was working at the movie theater, and I wasn't driving, of course, because I didn't have my license yet. And you guys came and picked me up from work, and I was sitting in the back, and you guys were just casually talking about having smoked pot the night before, and I started ignoring you guys. I was so offended.
Wow.
Not that you noticed, because you weren't acknowledging me anyway.
What a piece of shit.
I know.
Yeah.
I judged you guys for a lot of things back in those days.
We used
Because I was in a really, really happy relationship, and it was sad to...
Yeah.
Jokes.
You're just so much better.
There was some crazy tension going on with me and you, PJ, specifically. It's crazy to think that it wasn't that long ago, and how great we get along now.
Yeah. It was
think
quite a
so?
while ago.
Yeah, in some ways, I mean, technically, yes. What was it? Like,
6, 7 years ago?
not that long.
Sure it was.
That's-
Oh, you're saying that that's not that long.
Oh.
True that.
I've always been pleasant.
Did I... Oh, yeah, I guess I said pretty much the opposite.
Are you ever going to clear up what you don't like about Nick? Why you don't like Nick?
I don't dislike Nick.
Don't like him either, apparently.
I think it's funny.
Just get a don't dislike. Good for you.
I don't know. I complain. I don't think. Let me start that again. I don't think I complain as much or worry about as much openly about Elfina not liking me as I used to. Because sometimes I'll go to Yakima and I'll assume it's a shtick. Our shtick is that we're going to be mean to each other the whole time. But then remember that one time somewhat recently, and I can't remember any specific examples, but for the whole weekend, and I think it was like some unspoken deal between us, we were doing the exact opposite, kind of to piss PJ off, and we were just pretending to be the best friends all weekend. That was fun, too. We should try that. You already tuned that part out.
I'll go ahead and throw some gas in the fire here. I know for a fact that Alvina gets frustrated with you when you
Smoke pot in the house while I'm babysitting Sophie.
Yeah.
Please tell me that's a lie.
If you tell Sophie to shut up, because she thinks that's a bad word.
How often do I tell her to shut up?
All the time.
Really?
You don't say it to her directly, but sometimes you say it to her directly. But
Give me an example.
sometimes-
What would she have said to me? Because I'm obviously not telling her to shut up like I
No, like if
Like
she's
she's-
making noise in the kitchen,
and you
you're like,
say,
shut up.
Oh, I guess I do.
And
do
I just
that.
hate the word shut up. Like, I really hate it.
2 words. Shut
Okay. That's not what I was going to guess at all. I thought it's how I break your toilet every time I go over.
up. Yeah, there's that.
I've been much more careful. You guys are like, how do you not know how to flush a toilet? Guess what? It's different because you have to, no other toilet in the world do I have to push it down and then flip it back up.
No,
You don't
the
have
thing
to
is,
do that.
You don't have to do that.
I do, otherwise it just keeps running and running, the water.
You are special. You are the only one that has ever done that to our toilet each and every time.
Doubt that that's true. I'm also
PJ,
relieved.
is it true?
Yeah, it
It's
never
true.
happens until you're there.
Well, I'll be more careful about telling your daughter to shut up. I mean, when you're around, obviously, I won't. Yeah, okay. I was really worried it would have something to do with my feet, too. But I try to leave my shoes outside. Like, that makes it better sometimes.
That's nice, yeah.
Yeah, can you leave your feet outside, though? Like, it doesn't help that much. No, it's fine.
Do you really think I don't like you?
No,
I kind of think that.
sometimes
I think you should think
sometimes
that.
I think I worry more about it than I should because of something that PJ says or does.
Yeah, but you kind of warn people about me the same way. Like,
What do you mean?
Oh, I know that you told some people, like, oh, she's kind of a bitch, so don't be surprised.
If I did say that to somebody, it would obviously as a joke because I knew you were in earshot or something.
No, I'm
Rooted
not
in
an
a little bit of
earshot.
truth, but mostly for humor.
And
You state that like it's fact, but I'm pretty sure that I've never prepared anybody for your bitchiness.
I don't remember who.
I let
but
them find out for themselves.
I don't think I'm such an awful person. I know that I'm very.
Listen, we get along fine. I generally don't think that you hate me.
Where is all this coming from?
You asked the question.
I just don't hide my feelings very well, and I don't really care if people see it or not.
Yeah, but it's not like we're constantly bickering or anything,
Yeah,
or
no.
like you're calling me out on my shit.
What was the
which
text
could
you
do.
sent her the other day?
I thought this was. I couldn't stop laughing as I sent it. So the other day, because you were gonna go meet Ashley at the
Oh
zoo.
my gosh. I
So-
knew you were so proud of yourself, too. I knew that you would be laughing about it.
So Elvina texted me to ask for Ashley's phone number because you wrote it down, but then you lost it, right?
Yeah.
So I send her a text back with just the phone number. And then like 3 minutes passes, and I get another text from her saying, "Still up for tomorrow?" Obviously thinking of Ashley. So my big response, and I seriously was like showing everybody at the bar as I said it, like, look how funny I am, is I wrote back and simply said, "This is Nick, idiot." I was so happy to call you an idiot.
What about the text I sent you today? Get any laughs there? Did you pass that one around?
Let's tell that one.
What
I
else?
tried to show Ashley what I was going to show Ashley, but on my dumb phone, my new phone, it shows, if I don't delete my messages, it shows every message from that person. So, like, above were like our corny texts to each other, and I
Yeah.
didn't want her to see those because that's embarrassing.
The text I sent was when they're at the zoo. I asked if anyone mistaken Melissa for an orangutan yet.
And I told you that it was weird because as I read that text, she was standing right next to me, and her hair looked kind of orange in the light, and it was like all puffy and stuff. And she had been eating popcorn, so she had popcorn all over her face.
Was she like throwing your feces to?
What I like is when you sent her that text, I was with you as you were sending it, and you wanted to workshop it a little bit. You're like, okay, you had to come up with everything except for the animal.
Yeah.
Melissa is mistaken for a, and so my suggestion was walrus, but orangutan is a little less offensive, I guess.
It was just funny as sounding. I think it was the "and" before it, the "an orangutan" makes it sound funny. Comedy. Thanks for being on the show. First on-air fight
Between you two,
That wasn't really a fight.
I was uncomfortable.
I'm gonna talk to Dr. Knutson about it.
Who's Dr. Knutson?
Right, our family therapist. I definitely had a Dr. Knutson before. I didn't just make up that
did?
name. Yeah.
Oh, I thought that
Are
was
you
some.
pronouncing the K
It was you pronounced the K. That's what I remember about this
like
dude.
knife?
Same idea, yes.
I've been in bed ever since I got home from the zoo. Yeah, Melissa's exhausting. Are we done with this?
Why
I had a long
was
day
Melissa
of
exhausted?
chasing tourists all around the park. I've been in bed ever since I escaped from the zoo today.
Stop. Melissa does give me like dirty looks sometimes,
Dude,
which
she
I don't
doesn't
think
like
are
you.
uncalled for. But
I
she
can't
really
imagine
does
Melissa
sometimes.
giving a dirty look in her life. She just does weird things with her face sometimes.
As
But,
in a dirty look.
Have you ever seen? We may have touched
Like
on
stuff
this,
it full of pizza.
but have you ever seen her like have a confrontation with somebody or really be mad about anything other than mom in the moment because she won't let her bring the whole box of?
I know for a
crackers
fact
to her
she's
room?
told. I know she's told me to like step off before.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you remember-
I get a hand in my face. She'll tell me to step off.
No. Oh, this made me super angry at you and your dad and at Melissa. When this was like 6 years ago, and we went to the waterfront here in Tacoma. Well, in Tacoma, and Melissa got mad at something, and she spit at you,
Whoa. Oh yeah. I
and
remember.
no one did a thing, and I was livid that
You
you
were a lot
guys.
angrier 6 years ago. Why wouldn't you have done something?
And they did nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. It was disgusting. No one called
I
her out
remember
on
that she
it.
spit on me.
That is crazy.
It was ridiculous. No one did a thing.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Dad's
it's
still
not
kind
my
of,
place
I mean,
to
to
do
a lesser
anything.
degree, like when I would go with Dad on his weekends with Melissa, he'd always pack her a lunch because money's tight, and then he'd be like, "We're gonna go eat this at the park. It's a nice day." Meanwhile, it's raining, and then she's sitting in the back and she's like, "I want to eat my banana now." And then Dad's like, "We'll be there in a few minutes, Melissa. Why don't you just wait?" And then she's already like headfirst into the banana. Like she says things and then she does them. Like she doesn't wait for her reaction, and she doesn't ask. She states that she's doing it.
Yeah.
And regardless, I think you were kind of that way though too.
It's her terrible, terrible form of rebellion. Terrible, unrewarding
But-
form of rebellion.
I thought it was hilarious. I could not believe Melissa goes off on your mom like that. It was like a whole new side of Melissa I'd never ever seen before.
What are you talking about?
I've seen Melissa like yell at your mom and like not listen to her, and your mom's like, "Ugh, Melissa," or yeah, and Melissa will just like be like, "No, I'm not gonna do it," and she was like yelling at your mom. Like I think I've seen her do it 2 or 3 times.
It's weird for me to imagine, but I know I've seen it before. When it comes to yelling at Mom, I can't really blame her. And then, remember, this wasn't that long ago. Lori was having some kind of holiday party at her place, and Melissa, like, bulldozed her way through the living room to go play a video game or something, and knocked over, like, a full beer that was on the table.
Knocked over my beer, stood, looked at it.
Yeah.
And then walked away.
Walked away, and either you or me was like, "Melissa, are you going to clean that up?" And she literally sat down like she couldn't hear us.
Yeah.
I think it was
She gets
you.
so embarrassed, I think, and then her way of dealing with that embarrassment is shutting down completely and not responding.
See, that's the thing. That's why I don't feel as close to Melissa. Like, I don't see her forever, and then we're at that Christmas party. That happens. You and I are sharing a love seat to eat, and here comes linebacker Melissa, who, like, just sits where there is no room, right in between the two of us, basically ejecting me. Just no class whatsoever.
Was it a cartoon?
She's done eating and everything like that.
Yeah, and then we comment on it, and she's like,
When is it my turn?
people didn't know.
I'm going to the zoo in 7 months.
Special surprise guest Melissa's here. Melissa, I have a lot of questions for you.
I like iCarly a little too much.
Come on, we gotta come up with a question for Melissa.
Sometimes I dream that I'm videotaping iCarly when she's going potty.
Did you remember to pack your industrial-sized toothbrush, Melissa?
Yeah, I got it. Probably won't go to much use. I carry it around in my pocket. And my pocket's full of gummy worms. I just put it inside my underwear. Any more questions? Sophie, do you have a question? Yes, I'm your aunt. In case you want to know, I'm your aunt, Sophie.
Nick, I'm Sophie's aunt. Are you her uncle?
You're my niece, Sophie. Whose niece are you?
She was teaching her that today, too, in the car. Aunt. Say Aunt Melissa. And I don't know if
Sophie replied with a look of disgust. Sophie knows.
Did.
No more questions, guys? I'm here all week. I'm not going anywhere in life or mentally. I'm going to stay right here. I hope I find a pimp that likes retarded hookers. I'll really be set for life.
That was inappropriate.
Speaking of inappropriate, here's what we'll officially end on.
My bus driver puts his hands in my pants.
Stop it. Don't say that.
I'm going to turn it back to something light. Something light. Remember when Melissa was... Tell the story about Melissa in the sweatpants she was wearing that time.
Are you talking about the red ones?
Yeah.
When we were over at the house, their apartment, and she announced to us that she had had her first period.
No, first she said to you, I have a secret to tell you. And I automatically knew what it was.
And I think Bob was like, Melissa, don't tell him that she had her first period.
Yeah.
So she was wearing these red pants. And I asked her if when she woke up, like if they were white when she bought them, and she woke up and they were red. Not that funny. PJ! Stop it! And then I gave her some apple juice once, and it was beer.
No,
I did that to her once, too, with the
day that you asked her if her pants used to be white, you gave her rum and Coke and told her it was just Pepsi Coke or whatever.
Yeah.
And then she drank it and spit it out.
I'll never drink alcohol. I'll give up on that impression. It's clearly yours. You've mastered it.
I'll never drink alcohol unless Nick Jonas asks me to.